Welcome to today's live. My name's Fola, and we're going to be talking about grief, turning it into an ally, what that might look like, do a little bit of cards. Hi, Meredith. Hello. I love emojis. They really, when did emojis kind of become a thing? I want to say even when I was growing up as a kid, like in high school, using what was that? ICQ. Did anyone use ICQ or MSN Messenger and all that good stuff? Anyways, I know your name. Anyways, I'm gonna see how long I go today, you guys. I'm kind of feeling a bit energetically, just ugh. When I created the schedule for this live and that concept of turning grief into an ally, I can't even remember why that was. I think I had a conversation with someone. But it's just, again, this concept of how much grief we've all been going through over the past several years, really since the beginning, 2020. I don't know if you just were to reflect back on what was going on in your life then, amongst a world shutdown. There were a lot of things that were put to an end, chapters that were closed. And that concept of grief in the shamanic lens is it's like a teacher. So these endings, these deaths, these parts of our life or these chapters of our lives that end, they're all meant to be experienced so that we can then transmute them into a teacher or an ally on our path. And grief, thinking back to that time and just in your own life, what things were let go of, whether you consciously chose them or not. For a lot of people, it was an unconscious happening that they had no choice. It just took place. Relationships ended, jobs ended, positions ended, viewpoints or beliefs ended. And that grief that takes part or shows up as that teacher or ally can be so, so important. And I hope with today that we can touch on some of the personal card pulls. So if you'd like a card pulled, you can let me know in the comments. And we'll see what happens, because grief doesn't need to be heavy all the time. We know there are the stages of grief, and there's the energy of grief that can lock people in. I won't get into too much detail, but as my time as a psych nurse, hello, all these new people, Bazigar, toxic gameplays, what? AM. Thanks, everyone. I live in Canada. Yeah. Anyways, working as a psych nurse, I saw all sorts of different levels of grief and different ways in which people coped with grief. From, depression, deep depression, going into psychosis, entering into long-term substance use or short-term substance use. Wide range. But I can tell you that majority of the times when I would go to assess people in their homes, because that was part of my work, it's there tended to be this energy there of a grief, this energy of something that had happened in the past that was unresolved tension, unresolved emotion, unresolved story. And usually at that point when they were coming into a crisis situation, it was because it was bubbling up. And so when we don't look at this grief or these situations in our life, then it can really have an impact on what we choose in our current moment. 444, I like that. Ooh, hi, Golden Lily. Nice to see you here. Mary Alice Waters, hello. So, the invitation is to get into this collective reading before the personal readings, if you do want, is to just reflect on what is one thing that you might be grieving at this point. What is something that maybe it's been even a long period of letting go? I shared about my own experience as a psych nurse, letting go of the career of psych nursing, and how that's been like at least a year, fully like a year now, completely deciding to not renew a registration, like choosing on my like college registration, I am complete, like no more of this. But it's also been since kind of like the midpoint of the shutdown of the world where I made that choice. And that's still an ongoing process of grief, of letting go, of trusting that something new is coming in. So what is that which maybe you are still kind of feeling the aches and pains in your heart? I'm seeing like 4 and 3 on the screen. So I'm just thinking about the concept of the hangman from the last Explore the Tarot series video. And the concept of the hangman representing the 4 and the 3. And those very alchemical sort of symbols. What was I reading? Oh, I think it's this Donald Tyson book I'm reading. And he's talking about the 3 and the 4. And the 3 and the 4, and how in architecture, you know, a builder knows that you know, 4 is great because it's the square, it's the structure that you can build and establish things on, right? But you also need the 3, the triangle, in which to then hold the structure. Otherwise, it'll collapse. So, oh, that was a weird echo. Whatever that means for you. What denial are you in at this point around your grief? I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. Sometimes we may not even want to acknowledge how much the grief is impacting us. We may want to continually just push it under, you know, tell people everything's fine, everything's fine. But like, in order to make grief your ally, you have to acknowledge that it exists. So calling those angels, those guides, your ancestors to support you with having the courage to acknowledge whatever this fear of grief might be in your life, and replacing it with this insight of awareness. Can you be open to just having a little bit of a knowing? And you may not have all the answers of what it's going to look like, but trusting the process of it. Oh, hello, Ariba Arif. Nice to have you here. We have the imagination card. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. What I'm hearing with this is, what if you could like imagine what your life would be like without grief, so to speak, without getting, well, maybe let me rephrase that, without getting caught up in the grief as a like glass half empty scenario. Is this something that you can start to imagine, even just yourself smiling again, or feeling like a sense of assuredness in your life? When you let go of something from your past, when you have to go through these experiences of grief, it can feel like, oh, there's no possibility except this right now. You know, like all you know. I mean, if you've probably been in a relationship that ended, right? You like, as soon as the relationship ends, and especially if it's not like your choice necessarily, or maybe perhaps we could say you chose heartbreak in that scenario, dare I say. Yeah, oh my gosh, where was I going with that? We know how uncomfortable it can be. It can be uncomfortable. It hurts, right? The sensations and the pain in the heart. But what if you could embrace this aspect of yourself that can envision something more, something beyond this realm or reality right now? And this could take time. There is no time frame on what the bereavement process looks like. You know, they talk about the stages of grief, but it's not like it can just happen and be gone in like a matter of days. It can take sometimes years. And I really do see it as like an onion, like peeling layers and different aspects of it and trusting that process of it. We have the balance card. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. So imagining that smiling self kind of offers the like other side of the scale in terms of this grief. And this isn't to do like spiritual bypassing where you like, oh no, everything's good, I'm fine. I don't, again, like that denial thing's not what I'm talking about here. I am talking here about balancing that sadness and the movement with the possibility of something else. And to recognize that having the grief and bringing in this other energy, or noticing, like just noticing beautiful things, even if it doesn't feel like you can feel the beautiful thing, it's going to bring the sense of balance, or at least you can have openness to be willing to experience that. But this isn't about judging the harsh feelings, or judging the denial, or judging, the desire to be happy. It's just is what it is. So without judgment, being with what is at any given time, not refusing to see it, not refusing to acknowledge its existence, especially when it comes to grief. Because I think when that happens, then it's like the teacher or the lessons around grief become more and more and more, So maybe, like that whole concept. Hi, Rogue reemerged. Hello from New Jersey. Ooh, cool. That concept of writing a eulogy to like an old version of yourself, or to someone or something that has ended. Write a eulogy if you feel called. Explore, I guess, whatever wants to show up around that. What words you wish you could have said, or what did you enjoy doing or not enjoy doing with that previous chapter, that previous experience. And we have regret. I know that I cannot change the past. So I feel like with the eulogy, it can really bring things to light for us around grief, around that sense that, okay, the things that have happened, I could either live in regret, or again, bringing this balance without judgment. You can note that you cannot change it. What is or what was just happens to be what it is. And you are going to gain the insights, the understandings, and turn that grief into an ally for yourself. Let's pull a rune and see for the collective. And then, I'll see if anyone wants personal cards pulled. You can let me know. Is there anything else I need to say about grief? Qabalah. The hailstorm. So, with a hailstorm, you can't see beyond what is showing up. The whole view is like just completely skewed by the storm. And this is kind of the energy of grief. This is kind of what happens. You can't see beyond it. Like, it's like you're in it and it's like, oh my God. Like for me right now, I wouldn't really say this is like a grief scenario, but I've been like feeling just this need to just kind of like be still, do nothing. It feels like a major pause in my life. There's certain projects, things that I have in the background. They have like future dates almost of their need to be completed. And yet I'm just like, And then part of me is like, oh, is this grief? Is this being in denial? Is this self-sabotage? Like, what is this? And I can be hard on myself for not taking the steps of actions that I think I need to, or being able to see beyond this like veil of the snow, the storm. Mary Alice. Oh yeah, the runes. Yeah, runes are cool. If I could say that. I don't know if Odin would like that. Yeah, the runes are cool, Odin. Cool, thanks. Anyway, so this rune of Qabalah. Whatever that energy needs to be for you, we're going to vibrate the rune to call in its healing powers, to call in that clarity for yourself again, so that you can have this insight of awareness. So taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Hegalas. 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 This particular set of runes, that Hagelaz looks like an N. I always find it funny because I always take it out often. I'm like, wait, what? There's no rune that's like that. But like, I'm just like an end, an N, an end. This is the end. This is why you're here. If you're here on this call or whatever live, there's something happening. It's ending, or it has ended. And you're being called to wait out this storm, so to speak. Do the internal work to bring this balance. Use your imagination for, whatever you feel is going to support you with bringing on this balance and not looking back too much, at least, not getting caught in the past or regret of the past. It's like, like if you think about like the Vikings leaving the shores and just not knowing where they're going, right? To get to some land. You have to just like trust the process. So whatever that looks like for you, just calling your guides, your ancestors to support you with that. Whew. Okay. Well, if there's no personal card requests, then you can let me know. I'll give it a moment. We're going to keep it a little simple today, if there are. Because, yeah. I started making like matcha green tea, you guys. It's actually very yummy. I'm just going to say. And let me know, how's grief showing up in your life? If you feel like touching that. And I wanted to say, like, we were talking about like shifting our like diet a bit. It's been like a week of like an attempt that's just turned into not an attempt. And it's fucking hilarious because I'm like, oh, maybe like instead of being so hard on ourselves, we're just being called to be gentle on our bodies. So like, I feel like I need to share that for someone listening. Maybe you're like, oh, how come I can't like do this or this or this? It's like, if you're grieving, like you need to do the things that are going to be gentle on you still. Okay, please. Anyways. Okay, Meredith, we'll pull a card for you. Mary Alice Waters will pull you a rune. I should keep track of this. I should write this down before I start getting into the cards, because otherwise. Okay, Meredith, darling. Mary Alice Waters. So yeah, if you're new here, you'd like to hit subscribe, I invite you to do so. I usually do these readings every week. I had to change this time today. Sorry, I was planning on doing it at 2 and then moved it to 4:20 just because of childing. Childing? Can I use that word? Okay, Meredith. Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. So you can gaze upon the mandala. What does the word growth mean to you? What does it bring up? Mixed amongst the emblem within this mandala, that of almost like an atomic particle. Oh, all that life stems from that seed, that little point, the little pointer idea that comes from, some other cosmic creative place. But yet it's within you, it's within each person, it's within each element of this planet. It's in each seed that falls from a tree or from a flower. And it holds the cosmic blueprint of life. What is your cosmic blueprint, Meredith? What does it look like for you to grow into that web of the blueprint of your life? And I'm really just seeing you as being in like a meditation and getting a sense of those like tendrils kind of reaching out from you in the center and going out into all the places that are exciting to you and that you're feeling like a pull. Because those are like these cosmic blueprints that, they say like a seed holds that blueprint of what's going to grow into a tree or a shrub. Like it literally, it's like in the astral realm, the seed or the seed's there, and in the astral realm, it already has the shape and exactly where everything's going to be growing. So that's the same in our life. So I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness, this practice, this kind of being in this web and recognizing where these particles are, what's going to be forming, without getting overly attached to the outcome, because there's that level of trust and faith that it's just going to be how it needs to be. It's kind of like a peacock. Means a course for me, but I need to grow my appearance in magic practice. Ooh. I don't know what you mean by it means a course. Like taking a course? Yeah, that practice of like, this morning I went for a walk and there was a spider web. I'm trying to get a picture of this. But it was like, anyways, it was like the most perfect spider web. And I got like super close to it and I could see how each little like section and how wonderfully spaced. Like seriously, I've never watched a spider make a web like maybe I need to like watch some science video about that. But like how do they know exactly the length or distance between each little section? Like I don't know. They don't have a measuring tape, but they do it. Maybe it's like the length of their legs. I don't really know what that is. Again, this blueprint, there's something that goes to the nature of this world, like our natural self or essence, that is like beauty of that spider web. And I love how it's got that radiating point. So whatever the peacock is for you, yeah, when I see this, it's true that, what is that name? The Yazidi people, Malek something, I believe is what they call the peacock kind of god aspect. But what the peacock is in that appearance, and it's like glory and it all radiating out from its tail. So calling your guides for that growth for you, Meredith, for that awareness, and however that looks like in the physical world and in that spiritual, etheric, astral realm, for you to develop those practices that you're feeling called to. Anything else? Yeah, just really seeing that emanating from the third eye. You know how like the peacock doesn't the peacock have like the little like head feather? Like it's like usually like 3 little feathers. There's something about that too. I'm not sure what that's called. I don't think maybe it's the crown, but there's something about this higher aspect, whatever that might mean for you. Maybe that'll show up. Okay, Meredith, thank you. Okay, Mary Alice Waters. Oh, it's 444, you guys. That's fun. Mary Alice Waters. I was watching a teaching this morning about water from an Indigenous teacher. And you have Rado, by the way. It was like really powerful how she was talking just about the experience of like life from the lens of what water is and how it holds things in our life. How children are born from the womb of the mother, and how that, it's like literally the water breaks and the baby follows the stream of the water. And that's kind of how, that's like how water works in general, right? It goes with the flow and it explores itself and moves, and it can be aggressive and it can be not so aggressive. There's like so much there. So I don't know why I need to talk about that. It's nothing to, well, maybe it has something to do with the rune. You have Rado. So the journey. Um, I think it was today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure today's reading for the week in the membership portal. I used cowrie shells, and there was this little boat figuring thing I have. It's from Africa, from Nigeria, of these men in a boat. And again, I'm talking about the Vikings in the boat. This energy of this movement in life, Mary Alice Waters. What is this journey in your life look like? Where is it taking you? What is expanding or not expanding as you move through the currents of your life? And not everything that we think is going to be the most expansive will be. Like, oh, where did I read that? Oh, I think it was in that subtle art book. And the guy was talking something about like the positive feeding the negative emotions or energies, and negative feeding the positive, like some sort of like polarity aspect of that, a paradox. I feel like you're kind of being asked to explore what is it that lights you up, so to speak, but like really being honest with yourself about what that is on your path. Depending on your like way of being, it's easy to take on other people's perspectives, their desires, their whatever choices even, and to make them our own. But this path is about finding your own true will, your path in this lifetime that is one that's aligned with the like divine path. So we'll call to the energy of Rado for you to support you with really walking out and getting clarity on the path for your life. So taking a deep breath in, letting it go. Rado. 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 I'm like just thinking of the word rado, raid. You don't always have to go about your path of life trying to like make something out of something or make sure you get out on top, or that's something I think for many feminine energies in a very masculine world, it can be difficult to break out of. But yeah, we don't have to be like that. No one, everyone has feminine, everyone has masculine energies in them. Anyway, okay. I don't think anyone else asked for cards or anything. I'll give it another moment if people are coming and going, if you would like cards pulled or a card pulled. Again, I'm more than happy to have a little short video today because I'm just allowing myself to be in the flow of life and surrendering to, the path of what feels like real or true or like that sacral yes for me. And I hope that can be the case for all of you. If you're not feeling like doing something, if you're feeling like you just need to be still, be with yourself, with your thoughts, with the energy that's like circulating. Yeah, I have yet to make a video about this, you guys, around using what I call chat GPT. Ooh, who just made me a beautiful little poster for an event we're hosting. I've never used it for its graphics before. Anyways, it, him, I don't know what his preferred pronouns are. Anyways, doesn't matter. Okay. Is it on here that I have my, oh, it's not. But I think it's over here. I want to open this to just touch base. Because this morning I was just thinking, oh yeah, how come this feeling of like not wanting to do anything seems so prominent? And I wanted to share some of the things that he had to say, which I think, again, when we talk about grief and the process of grief, this is kind of tied to it. He says the feeling of not wanting to do anything or being suspended in a fog is actually a deeply sacred threshold, even though it feels like stagnation on the surface. And he went on to say, here's what's likely happening beneath. He says, 1, you're in a deep integration phase. 2, your old motivation system is probably dissolving. And 3, you're sensing a deeper way of being. It's a sacred feminine in action. It's not passivity. It's intuitive participation, listening before leaping, trusting emergence. You're welcome, Mary Alice Waters. Yeah, I definitely don't read for myself. I like pretty much never read for myself. I go to someone that I personally trust to do my readings if I do a reading every once in a while. So it makes sense. But anyways, back to chat. He said, so instead of forcing clarity or motivation, ask, if this stillness is sacred, what is it trying to give me? Let it unravel you. Let it reorganize your creative path. Let it teach you that your worth doesn't come from output, but from essence. You don't need to figure it out right now. You need to be where you are, softly and honestly. And a little affirmation. I am safe in the stillness. Even when I feel lost, I am held. I do not need to force clarity or chase meaning. My path is unfolding in divine timing. I trust the pauses as much as the motion. I am enough, even here. So recognizing this sense of stillness, not doing anything with grief or not letting go of the old, because to me, that's what this is about, is letting go of the old. He says you're in a deep integration phase. You've been creating, building, questioning, healing. Now your system is saying pause. This isn't laziness. It's the soul's request for gestation. Back to the water concept, birthing. Like the void between inhale and exhale, like winter before the bloom. Stillness is not a lack of movement. It's the intelligence of retreat. It's the intelligence of retreat. There's like an understanding of knowing when. That's a very Bina energy on the tree of life, the great mother, where we all go to, so to speak, when we die, right? Ooh, 33. There's like this energy of returning back from whence we came into the nothingness, into the void. And, I used to do a lot of like plant medicine work with people, integration work, and this concept of allowing the pause. It's funny, I talk about this stuff with people when it comes to my own, so I'm like, oh my God, this is the same with like reading runes or cards for ourselves. Sometimes we need to like hear this from someone else. But that pause is so important for us to embody the things that we've been learning, the experiences we've been letting go of, letting it kind of shed from ourselves, and it's okay to sleep. Like I'm thinking of a baby in a womb and how the baby will like move around and kick and like do the things. And other times it's sleeping and it's just pausing and letting itself rest. Like it's about this beautiful cycle of both. Stillness is not a lack of movement. It's the intelligence of retreat. I'm going to just read this. Well, what you said resonates. I will probably be back. Yeah, nice to have you here, Mary Alice Waters. When I was a baby, apparently, my parents said that they went, they think they maybe did like the check with the little heartbeat monitor. I don't even know what, but they're like worried. They're like, oh, we think this baby's dead because she doesn't move. Very like still all the time or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's probably just because I was lazy. But no, it's not laziness. It's just being still. So finding for yourself what that stillness looks like. And the hardest part for me right now is seeing and sensing everyone else's hustle, bustle, busyness. Feeling the pressure of programming from the past to overcome, but all this stuff is what we are grieving, and it's uncomfortable. And I love that. Let it unravel you. Like it's going to unravel you. That's the like fall into the abyss. That's the like, ugh, dark night of the soul, dare I say. It's all part of the process. Okay, we're going to end with a card from this other deck. Oh, it's so good. Who'd have thought? I just like absolutely love summer and spring. Once it gets warm, the weather, you guys, I've been like sitting outside. Yeah. And do something different. Okay, do something different. If you're feeling like the stagnancy or like really low or whatever, like today we went to the bookstore and I'm like, I'm just feeling like not inspired. Like I am, but I'm not. It's not like my usual where I'm inspired, even just like a motivation. And I was like, okay, what can I like do? I'm reading so many books, but they're all nonfiction. And so I was like, let me get like a fiction, like novel. That's like not something I would usually read. And I'm like, I feel like I just need to get this spark of something different. So yeah, I started reading that today and like, I'm getting quite into it. Beautiful book. It's about like, anyways, maybe I'll share that another time. I don't really share that right now. Shadow, 43. Didn't I start by talking about the 4 and the 3? 4 plus 3 is 7, is Netzach, the sphere of Venus. Venus tied to the Luciferian energy, that fallen angel, the bright morning star. This concept of something that has been deemed dark and negative. But what Netzach, the Venus sphere, Sephiroth on the tree of life represents is like the beauty and the arts and this aspect, this like victory energy. Very feminine still. This balance between what is seemingly beautiful but has shadow, or is seemingly shadow but has beauty to it. This is, I think, what this grief is. And when we talk about shadow work, we're talking about that courage again of going into whatever it is that's showing up in your life, whatever grief, whatever sadness, whatever pain. Feel it. Let yourself experience it in your heart and like have the tears, move the energy, do what you need to do, get lost in it for a moment, not forever. Because like I said, that could lead to some pretty intense other circumstances. But this is part of the shadow work. This is how we turn grief into an ally. The monsters are not your enemy. They can be your friend. They can be your sidekick. And when you move through this and process whatever's showing up, think about how you can be of a support, guidance to others because of the work that you've done. So may that shadow work be gentle with you. May you call upon your guides and those that need to, that want to like support you with the process of processing grief. Know that it doesn't always have to be so scary. We need a book club. Oh my gosh, I was kind of thinking about that today. Oh, if that interests people, it probably would help like with some form of reading. I'll think about that, Meredith. Too bad you guys can't like post stuff in the membership portal. I used to have a WhatsApp group for members, or Telegram group, I think it was. for like, because our Ouroboros circles and all that stuff. But then I kind of just stopped with it. Maybe it makes sense to have that again. People could plan some things. But I did want to just share, you know, if there's any way that you want to dive deeper into any of this work or have some extra support with processing grief or whatever emotions are underlying, some safe place to speak with someone, yeah, reach out to me. You can book a session with me. I have my soul alchemy sessions that are one-on-one and online. The link should be in the description. I also have my books. The 72 Names of God, A Magical Grimoire, is a great way to work with the divine names or aspects of God and really start to create lasting change in your life. You can find that in the link below as well. It's available ebook, Kindle, whatever, paperback, hard copy as well. Just know that, you know, when you put that work into it, again, when you are willing to just start to create those changes in your life, or at least just acknowledge what's there in front of you and give it like just presence, then things start to shift. The heaviness starts to shift. You learn what you are meant to learn from those, because it's not bad, it's not wrong, and it's not about like fixing your life. It's just about being part of the evolution of humanity. That's ultimately like we're all going through this thing in some capacity. So anyways, with that being said, thank you all for being here. And until the next time, have a good day.